Welcome to Outlook Online 4.0 Interface Orientation, brought to you by BC Libraries Branch, Public Library Interlink, and the BC ELN. Today your presenters are myself, Mary Martin, and Gordon Coleman from BC ELN and Interlink. We're here today to demonstrate some of the new features of Outlook Online and to give you an orientation to the new interface, and then work through with you a few details around the migration. During the session, we will explain the reasons for the migration, review the timeline for switching to the new patron staff interface at your library, go over the new features in the search interface, show how you can customize your interface options for patrons and staff. So by the end of this session, we hope that you will be prepared to begin reviewing search and request functions yourself, understand the options for customizing for staff and patrons on the interface side for your library, and understand the next steps for implementation at your library. So to review, to make sure that we're all on the same page, I'm just going to go through a little bit about what is Outlook Online. Outlook Online is a search portal to resources held at BC public and post-secondary libraries. It is a union database of provincial library resources, and an integrated ILL management system used by most post-secondary and public libraries. Outlook Online forms the backbone of the provincial resource sharing system and is administered and supported by the BC Libraries Branch for public libraries and the BC ELN for post-secondary libraries. The Outlook Online search portal does two kinds of searches simultaneously every time you enter a search. First, it searches the union database of regularly uploaded records from all BC libraries. Secondly, it performs a search on Z servers through targets at several university and public library catalogs. Most of you will be familiar with this as UBC, UVic, SFU, and UNBC for the post-secondary sides, and VPL and Burnaby Public for the public library sides. We will be working with libraries to ensure that proper Z targets are also included moving forward. Outlook Online can be accessed by patrons and staff via web browser. Every BC library has a unique Outlook Online URL or web address, and unlike the old interface, both staff and patrons can use the same and do use the same URL. Most libraries make Outlook Online available to the patrons via their website so that patrons can search and discover items held at any BC library. Some libraries do allow patron-initiated requesting via the Outlook Online, while other libraries require that patrons fill out a form outside of this service. This is then entered into Outlook Online and managed by ILL staff. If you have any questions about how your library is set up or how you'd like to make the setup happen, please let us know. Why the migration? Autographics will no longer support the old interface or the classic interface after July 1st, 2014, so all libraries must migrate to the 4.0 interface by June 30th. Along with this change, the name of Agent ILL software has changed to SHAREit. So all documentation references SHAREit, so please keep this in mind when you're looking for instructions. So what is the difference we're going to be experiencing in 4.0? The main changes to the interface will involve look and feel, the search interface, and a display of results. All of these will be much more customizable, so each library can tailor the search defaults to the needs of your particular users and staff for preferences. There will be no changes to the ILL admin functions you are used to working with. The focus of this session is to search on the search interface, and we'll address questions you might have in another time. So just to reiterate, the main changes will be look and feel, enhancement to the interface in terms of usability and ability to customize, functional changes within searching, but ILL functionality will remain the same. We're using cluster search for results to help you narrow down the searching. And migration of the underlying architecture also will hopefully improve the speed. And more HTML will provide flexibility on devices. We're also hoping to see more improvement of the Z3950 resources that are not in the Union database at this time. And now I'm just going to turn over control to Gordon, who is going to walk you through a little bit around the migration timeline and a little bit more about the search interface.
Okay, this is Gordon here. The migration timeline, we're working on setting up the branding and the system defaults. We expect we're going to do a staged migration for libraries, so migrating libraries in batches through May and into June. All libraries must be migrated by June 30th, 2014. We will keep libraries updated as we go through this process. Okay, I'm going to now take you on a brief tour of the interface itself so that you can see some of the features. So I'm going to switch over to browser here. And so I'm just going to confirm with Mary, are you seeing the browser now?
Yes, I am seeing the browser.
Okay. So this is what the new interface looks like. So first, a quick word on browser compatibility. The new interface works best in current versions of Firefox and Chrome. The patron-side search features do work in IE. There are some known problems using some of the staff features in IE, the older versions of IE, particularly IE 8 and IE 9. For your patrons, probably any browser will work. For staff, it's best if you're using a system in Chrome or Firefox. However, we are aware that the Canada Post shipping tool only works in IE 9. So you may need to keep IE 9 for the shipping tool and then use Firefox or Chrome for your other interactions with the system on your staff workstations. Now, the URL for the system, for the new interface, has been provided to you by email. It's also in the setup guide that we've prepared. As an aside, the interface that we're looking at has been set up with some system-wide defaults. It's things like the logo at the top. We've got a nice new logo and a new color scheme. Many of these defaults can be changed in your library admin account under the UX admin tab that we're going to be showing you. However, it's important to keep in mind that for the next few months as we get used to the interface, we may need to make some global setting changes to the UX admin, and those would override any local changes you've made. So just a word of caution that if you do start customizing this interface, we may accidentally override your changes. Now, what you're looking at is the basic sort of landing page, which is set to go straight to simple search. This can be customized depending on what you prefer for your patrons. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But right now we're going to pretend that we are ordinary users or patrons in the system, and we're going to try some searches to see what the patrons see.
Sorry to interrupt, Gordon, but I should also mention this page might change slightly as we work on the branding, but the search functionality will remain the same.
Thank you. Okay, so we're a patron and we're going to do a simple search, and I'm going to imagine that we are searching for Pride and Prejudice. So I'm going to type that in. Now I'm going to show off the headings. There's the search button there, but before I do that, I'll show the headings. This right now it is defaulting to, it's a kind of keyword search of all possible headings. Your patron could choose to narrow that down or not. In fact, I'll narrow it down to title. And also, these are the search targets. So a number of libraries have set up different search targets, and what you'll see here are the defaults that you have set up. What should be selected is Outlook Online plus the 4 Z targets at the 4 big universities. Some libraries have other targets set up. We're actually not quite sure how well those are working and whether those libraries have been set up properly. This setup here should get us a good set of results. So I'm going to click the search button. Now, you'll notice a couple of things right away with the search interface. The first thing is, of course, the jacket art. The new interface incorporates jacket art, which is a great visual feature for the patrons. It really adds a lot to the interface. What we're seeing right now is the default free Amazon jacket art. So this is the Amazon feed, and as you can see, it's not very complete. There's a number of titles that are showing up with a generic sort of icon. If your library has a subscription with a jacket art company like Synthetics or one of the others, if you let us know about this, we can, instead of using the default Amazon feed, we can incorporate Synthetics or whichever other supplier it is. Now, on this search screen, as we scroll down, you'll see on the left side there is now faceted filtering. So you can limit by the library where the hits are coming from, also the format, author, title. So that's a great feature for patrons to use to filter. There's also an expand your search option further down on the left side.
Mm-hmm. Gordon, do you mind showing them the format options, because patrons often may want to choose a large print?
Sure, yes. Yeah, well, it'll show up in a couple of places, but yes,
okay.
If you click on format, this will show that the long list of formats available for this particular item.
Great, thanks.
Now, the search results themselves, there are now 3 ways that you can display search results. This version here is called the grid view, and it has the book jackets at the top and then the items listed below. We selected this for the patrons. We think it's sort of the one that's the quickest to scan. There are 2 other options, either one of which you can set as a default. There's a list view, which sort of has items sort of in a straight list with a book jacket at the left side. And there is also a, this is called, the gallery view. Yes, I forgot the name. This is the gallery view, which has a large book jacket. But we have set as the default for now the grid view. You can change that default for your users. The other really important change here is the way the search results are grouped. In this version of the system, there's a new grouping option known as clustered, and clustered groups items together based only on title and author. If the title and author match, it'll group them together. So what's happened with our search here is that we see Pride and Prejudice by Jane Austen at the top, with a staggering number of formats available. And then we have various versions of Pride and Prejudice that have different authors listed. I guess these are probably guides to the original book. I can't imagine anybody else would write a book called Pride and Prejudice. So this is the clustered option. This is different than what you're used to. The old system did what was called merging, which used not just author and title, but also publisher and year of publication and format. So it made it a little bit harder to scan the page and figure out which is the right, your patrons will see all the different editions. They probably didn't care about it, which edition it was, they just wanted Pride and Prejudice. So on the patron side, we think this is the best way to display the results with the clustered search algorithm, clustered matching algorithm. You can change this default, and you'll see that on the staff side, we do have it set differently. Now, so I'm going to assume that my patron has decided this is the version of Pride and Prejudice that they want, and they know they want the print version, the book, so I'm going to click on book. And these are the brief this is the brief view of the search results. This is now doing the merged format. So you can see we've got the New American Library edition, and then the Longman edition, and then the Buccaneer books, and all the different editions of this book. At this stage, you need what the patron needs to do if they're going to place the request is they need to scroll through and find the one with the most holdings. Autographics is working on a new sorting algorithm that would put the one with the most holdings at the top. In this case, the first few items we can see there's only one owning library, but if we scroll down, we'll find what we're expecting to see, which is this edition here, the Penguin edition, which has got, in fact, 21 holding libraries. No, I'm sorry, this is the Knopf edition. So the holding information goes with the one above, so this is the Knopf edition with 21 holding libraries. There's 2 master records showing up here. There's a bit of a problem with in the database with the master records, but that's okay for now. This is the one that we want to take a look at. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to click on the 13, and now we're seeing the full record display with all the details, and we can see all the libraries that hold this item. Some libraries have shelf status checking set up. We're going to try to set this up for more libraries, but for now it's only set up for a few, but you can click on this and you can actually see the shelf status of the item. So when I click, pause for a second, and we see at West Van, this item is in fact not on the shelf. You can see that it's out right there. So that's been an overview of the patron side. Sorry, I'll mention one more thing. Up here, when your patron gets this far, they could then email themselves the record. They could print the record if they want to go and request it. If you have patron side requesting turned on, some libraries let the patrons place the request directly, some libraries don't allow that. If it is turned on for your patrons, there will be a request button right here. In this case, in this test library, it's not turned on. So that's been a quick overview of the what a patron might experience in the system and the new searching. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you the staff perspective. So the first thing I'm going to do as a staff member is log in. There used to be separate URL for staff to log in, but there's no longer a separate URL. There's a login button right on the the same search screen that patrons can be using. So I'm going to log in. Now, you use the same login and password in the new system that you use in the old system, so your accounts haven't changed. So give me a second while I type in my login here. And now I'm logged in. I know that I'm logged in because I've got a logout option in the top right corner now, and on my account, and so other features. So this is we're seeing a few more buttons here. We've got this is still going to the basic search screen. We think probably when staff log in, they might like to go straight to the advanced search screen. But right now the system isn't doing that. It seems to be a bit of a bug in the system, but they're working on fixing that. So we can always go, we're just going to have to click this link here to go to the advanced search screen. I'll just point out there's also a browse button here. This, as in the old system, you may or may not have had this turned on, but you or your patrons can browse, index, and do a title browse of the entire Union database or an author browse of the entire Union database. But I'm going to go into the advanced search. And as you might expect to see in an advanced search screen, there's 3 search boxes. We have a few options here for, we can do all these words, any of these words, exact phrase, and we have a bunch of different search indexes that we can use. We are aware there's a few bugs in here. There's sometimes some of the features in advanced search don't seem to be working. So you may need to be patient for a few weeks. We're reporting bugs, and we know that Autographics is working to squash them all. So I'm going to type in a search. This isn't actually a very realistic search. I just want to show you some of the features of the system. I'm going to do a search for Harry Potter. I want an exact phrase. I'm going to stay with title begins with. I'll show you the targets tab again. With your staff, with a staff login, we've got a longer list of possible search targets. You can show your patrons a few search targets and have your staff see a longer list. I'm not going to change these. I'm just showing that that targets tab is there. I'm also going to use one of the limiting features, since I know Harry Potter is in many, many languages, and my imaginary reader here wants English, so I'm going to limit it to English, and then I'm going to click the search button. There is a slight delay. You can see the search results loading there. If it's doing Z3950, there's a slight delay as it pulls them all in. Now, this is the same sort of results screen that we saw on the patron side. We've got the filters and the facets on the left side. The order is slightly different here. You can change the order to whatever you want. That's in the UX admin. I'll show you that in a second. But over here on the results side, you can see how we're showing you that we've set the default on the staff side to be different than on the patron side. Instead of doing the grid view, we're doing the list view, because we think that this is very similar to what was in the old classic interface. We think that staff are probably more used to this view. And also, instead of doing the cluster view, which matches only on author and title, we're doing the merged sorting algorithm. So this is also using publisher and publication date to match. So in this case, all of the editions of the Harry Potter books tend to be from Raincoast, but this may look a little more familiar to staff to see this view matching with also publisher and publication date. So I'll just take a look at the first item. So we've got the Order of the Phoenix at the top, the Raincoast 2003 edition. Now, because we're in the staff view, of course, we've got the request button showing up to place the ILL request. However, we're going to recommend that you don't do request at this level. You have to drill down one more level and place your request. The reason why is back to this problem we have of multiple master records. We've got 6 master records in the Union database, all for what is clearly the same book. These 6 records, there shouldn't be 6, there should be 1. So there's something wrong with the way the records have been merged, and we're talking to our graphics about that. We're going to try to have them fix this. If you click the request button at this level, by default it will go to the first record in the list, which happens to be a master record with only a single holding attached to it. And of course that's not very useful. What we want to do is we want to choose this 6th one down here because there's 62 holdings attached to it. So for what you need to do at this level, supposing we wanted to order the Phoenix, is drill down one level by clicking on Outlook Online to get to that master record that's got 62 holdings. And so now we're seeing the detailed view again. This is the same as we saw before. We have a very, very long list of libraries with holdings to list, not surprisingly. And at this level, if we place the request, it will now go against this master record with the 62 holdings. The request screen itself hasn't changed significant. We're aware a number of libraries have given us feedback that the screen is too complicated, there's too many fields on it, and if we're going to expose it to patrons, they want the screen to be a little bit simpler, and we are talking to Autographics about that. The main thing I think to look at here is that you can see in the lender list all 62 of those libraries have shown up, so that's very likely to be a successful ILL. Okay. So that was a quick tour of the advanced search and also the way an ILL staff person might go and place a request. I'm going to quickly show you the staff menu just so you can see that in fact most things there have not changed. If we go to staff menu, most of the tabs at the top are the ones that you're expecting: statistics, the user admin, the CAD admin, the pack admin. ILL admin, I'll click on that just to show you that in fact has not changed significantly. this should look very similar to how it looks in the old system. This is live data, so when you go into your system, if you're testing the system, be aware that if you make a change on the screen, you are in fact processing a live transaction. Any changes you make here will also be made in the old interface. So you may want to put in a test if you want to test this out. Put in a fake test ILL and then edit that one and update that one. The one new tab that you're seeing here is the UX admin, and this is how you administer many of the new settings in the interface that I've shown you. There's a number of menu options. Once you go to UX admin, you can edit the headers and footers and the colors. Just a reminder, as I said before, please don't go and edit those. We have set them up. We've chosen colors to match the new logo. And if you make changes in this area, we may, and then if we have to push out global updates, we may overwrite your changes. The one menu option that I'll show you here is results options. This is where you can configure many of the new features that we've shown you in the interface. The default results view for patrons and guests, as you saw, is doing the grid, but for staff is doing the list. You can turn the jacket art on and off. And this is on the top right corner. This is where you administer the settings for the grouping algorithms. The patrons, as I said, are seeing the clustered algorithm, which matches only on author and title, whereas for staff, it's set on the older merged algorithm, where it also uses publisher and date to do the matching. That is a quick overview of the UX admin, and I think that that's everything that I was going to tell you about that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to pass it back to Mary. She's going to take control and show you, I think we have 1 or 2 slides left, and we'll be done this presentation.
Great. Okay. I'm going to just flip back here to stop sharing. Let's go back. Few seconds here. Whiteboard. Okay. Oh, it flipped us right to the start. Okay, there we go. So thanks for that, Gordon. And now we're just going to summarize the next steps for all of you. So we have created a startup setup guide to guide you through the process for your libraries. It's very simple in terms of how you migrate to the new interface. You basically get a URL and you need to put it on your website, and then you can start accessing that new interface immediately. Where it comes down to more needs around will probably be around learning to search and using the new results pages and getting more familiar with that interface. So the next steps are going through the setup guide, modifying any defaults in your library or admin account so that you can leave it at the defaults that we've provided. Begin training ILL and public staff so that they can help orientate others. We'll be providing the script as well as more videos as needed. Test, practice, take your time, get in there and really play around so you know how it works. And then finally, the last stage will be to change your new URLs when you're ready to launch on your website and on staff workstations. So that's it. Just want to say thank you for coming to us today. And we are going to look forward to working with you in the future. So again, if you'd like to reach us, here is the next slide. So it's Mary at the BC Libraries branch, Gordon Coleman at the Interlink office, through Interlink, and Sunny Nishimura at BC ELN for post-secondary libraries. And we'll look forward to sending you more information as needed. Thanks.